Mic check. Looks like it's on. Woo! It's been a while. Good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. Jesse here, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, getting started right on the dot, as usual, right? It was as usual for like a year when I was doing live streams every single day that the stock market was open from September 2023 till September 2024, and then started to taper off after that. It was getting more and more difficult since the baby had been born, and with lack of sleep and all that stuff. And I had other big projects to do that I wanted to put all my energy and resources into, and I'm getting closer and closer to accomplishing a goal I set out almost 3 years ago. Not quite 3 years. Yeah, 2 years and three quarters. Yeah. It'll be 3 years in like June. So we'll see how it goes. But here we go. Shooter by the way. Javier. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Yep. Targets. 3-week bear cross. Oof. Yep. Good morning. Caesar, good afternoon. Welcome back. Oh, Doc changed his name. Or no, I don't think you changed your name on YouTube, but on X, Doc. We got to remember that. Hello. Buster G, good morning. Welcome back. Cool. From Germany. Yep. Awesome. What about global M2 liquidity cycle with the lag 108 day? Oh my God. You know how many times I've seen that post? Oh my gosh. To fit a fractal, let's just back up real quick. So I use fractals as ideas. I don't trade it only based off of a fractal. I only use them as, let me make sure I didn't turn the mic off. I only use them as ideas, right? Like maybe you could use Elliott Wave as an idea, or you could use Wyckoff as an idea, but I wouldn't use any of those by themselves, right? Me personally, just from obsessively staring at charts over and over again, seeing quote unquote experts use those tools and be dead wrong. So, could it work out 30 to 35% of the time? Sure. Could it work out 50% of the time? Sure. Could it hit their actual price targets 30 to 35% of the time? Sure. Could you be profitable doing that? Sure. But it's not for me, right? It's not for me. And there's a lot of different interpretations, blah, 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 blah. So the fractal, it was offset by like 110 days. Now it's 108 days. Then it'll be 109 days. Then it'll be 100 days. Then it's a 200-day offset, right? The goalposts usually keep moving, right? So could the fractal be right? Sure, it could be, but I think it's a very low percentage when we're talking about things that are tried and true, in my opinion. Charts that I've stared at for an obsessive amount of hours, whether it's the relative strength index or higher time frame, MACD. I like to show the MACD because it was one of the first indicators I put on my chart years ago. And I like to point out on the higher time frames, which is really, really, really lagging, that it will outperform most of these experts. So that's why I show the MACD on higher time frames. I rarely show them on lower time frames. But on the higher time frames, I like to show the MACD because you'll see all these quote unquote experts out there talking about making new all-time highs, talking about The bull run is still on, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the higher time frames are reversing, right? So this is a 3-week chart of Bitcoin. I pointed out the 5-day chart. I pointed out the weekly chart. I pointed out the 2-week chart, and now I'm pointing out the 3-week chart. The 3-week chart officially crosses today. So, barring price shooting back up to maybe $100,000 today, there's going to be a 3-week MACD bearish crossover, right? So there was a crossover here, June 2021. I played that that pump from July at $32,000 all the way up to 61,000, right? And then the second MACD bear cross on the 3-week chart is when we went into the bear market. Well, it wasn't when we went into the bear market. It was like another confirmation of the bear market, right? So obviously I didn't wait for a 3-week MACD bearish crossover to call, the top is in, right? That would be too lagging for me. Prices was 109 and now it's down at 83,500. So if you waited for a 3-week MACD bearish crossover, it's already down $25,500, right? So I wouldn't personally wait for that. But the M2 liquidity cycle, what if it doesn't follow the fractal? How many bulls will still be caught in it? And a lot of the bulls that bring this M2 liquidity cycle up, a lot of them, or most of them, or many of them, or all of them missed the last bear market, right? So they missed the last bear market. It's the up only crew. And I don't know if it's just because they are always bullish no matter what. I don't know if it's because they get better engagement posting bullish charts. People think that I'm farming engagement with bearish posts, and that couldn't be the farthest from the truth. I learned back in 2021, 2022 that bullish charts way outperform the bearish charts, even in a bear market. I saw massively bullish charts April 2022, and from many experts who charge for courses and blah blah blah, right? And it was in a bear market, but those charts outperformed tremendously more, like 5-to-1 ratio versus my bearish chart, or a 10-to-1 ratio versus my bearish chart. So, but I don't care. I'll show you what I see on the charts, bullish or bearish. And so it doesn't matter, right? I posted earlier today that 2021, 2022, I was countering the perma bulls. 2023, I had reposted the chart where I was countering the perma bears. So you can see that post. And then I've been countering the perma bulls again the last couple months, right? So here we are. We had a MACD bearish crossover on the 5-day, the weekly, the 2-week, and now we'll have it on the 3-week chart. So if the M2 liquidity cycle doesn't line up with what I'm seeing, then do I care? Everyone's posting about it because that's kind of like their last hope. And then they'll move on to a different one, right? They'll move on to a different chart to fit the narrative. So whatever the narrative they have, whatever they hope for, whatever hopium they have, they will move the goalposts to fit that narrative. So if it was the daily chart, they'll move it to the weekly. If it's the weekly chart, they'll move it to the 2-week chart. If they are always against regular bearish divergence, all of a sudden they'll be into bullish divergence, right? So it's interesting to see play out over and over again. So that's where we're at. And this isn't me speculating that the 3-week is crossing. It's literally crossing in real time. And today, this 3-week candle closes today. And so that will be a bearish crossover. Could it bounce short term? Absolutely. This is a 3-week chart. Could it bounce on the 1-hour chart? Yes. Could it bounce on the 4-hour chart? Yes. Could it bounce on the daily chart? Yes. But this is a longer term correction. This is a higher time frame correction over the longer term, right? So the second crossover, you got the first crossover, and then we were talking about the pump out, and MicroStrategy was leading the way to the upside again at $65,000 Bitcoin. I posted that chart and it went all the way to 109. MicroStrategy was leading the way to the downside, has hit 4 out of 4 targets to the downside, and Bitcoin has hit 3 out of 4 targets to the downside so far, right? So here we are. Second crossover, you can see that this arrow right here from the peak over, that was 2 candles, right? 2 candles. I don't know if that really matters or not, but just pointing out, this was 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, right? So it took a little bit longer. And then it kind of peaks out here. So you got how long is that? Let's see. What else? Good morning. Yep. I had a friend at dinner last night show me the Bitcoin price at, I don't know what that means. At 82,000, he said it's good time to buy. Yeah. They'll buy dips all the way down. They will call bottoms all the way down, right? This cycle is over already. I'm totally ruined. Oof. No, I definitely don't. I use the higher time frames to show the overall trend, right? So my strategy, sometimes I do counter trades, right? If it's on a shorter time frame and I want to do a day trade or a scalp or a short-term trade, I might do a counter trade. But the reason why I show the 3-week chart or the 2-week chart or the weekly chart or the monthly chart is in an uptrend, longer term, I'd rather buy the dips. In a longer term bearish trend, I'd rather short the bounces. I don't want to buy the dips. I'd rather short the bounces. So that's why. But no, I don't trade the higher time frames. But I use the higher time frames to dictate what type of trading I'm doing, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Oh yeah. To have the bias, the higher time frames, right? Yep. ETH has topped out for the cycle as well. It doesn't look great. Are you holding cells? No. Oh, are you holding? I thought, never mind. I thought you meant, am I still holding? Okay. Holding cells from, wouldn't you like to know? So. All right, let's keep going. Let's get going. This is the 3-week chart. You can see, oh, that's what I was doing. I got sidetracked. So from the first MACD histogram, December 2021, right, to the highest or the biggest or the lowest histogram was June 2022, and you can see there's starting to be divergence, right? Which means price could still go lower, but it's an early warning sign, right? It's an early, if viewed correctly, or keeping an eye on it, right? As it's moving this way, right? The MACD is still going lower. The histogram is getting less and less and less, and it's trending that way. And price was going lower and lower, right? So November and December of 2022, I was talking about bullish divergence. I waited for a higher probability reversal. and my first buy was at 16,800 with 5x leverage back then. And but the signs were there, right? The signs were there. The histogram on the higher time frames were reversing. Price went lower, right, in December. And then based off of the daily chart and the weekly chart, there was bullish divergence. And then, of course, by the January 10th, I think it was, the weekly flipped bullish, right? So the daily flipped bullish on the close of January 3rd, which was like January 4th, right, on the chart. And that's when I was buying. And then the next week, the weekly chart flipped bullish. It was already trending that way. The higher time frames had also had some signs, right? So it trends this way, right? Price goes lower, and then finally there's a reversal on higher time frames. So very similar to over here, but the opposite. So you got the crossover on the 3-week chart. You see the histogram decreasing, right? While price was, at 109,000, probably in the hundreds, right? So just pointing that out for right now. Oh man, I might have to sneeze. Springtime. I mean, it has 80% correlation at a given time, maybe. And then where was the fractal pulled from, right? So, I don't know. It could have 100% correlation and then stop correlating. It could have a 20% correlation or 0% correlation, and then tomorrow it starts correlating, right? So it does, the past doesn't equal the present. The past doesn't equal the future, right? The past was the past, and so you have to take it with a grain of salt. So it's a game of probabilities, and based off of the charts that I've stared at obsessively, whether it's the MACD or the relative strength index, it's not just the MACD. I mean, I'm not just saying this because of the MACD. I'm just pointing out the MACD, but really, relative strength index, right, uh, had bearish divergence even on the 3-week chart back in 2021, right? 3-week chart has bearish divergence. The monthly chart has bearish divergence. RSI already had a sell signal in the 3-week chart, right? RSI already had a sell signal on the 3-week chart. So the probabilities are that the top is in and that we're going to go lower. It's going to take some time to play out, whether it's the weekly chart, the 2-week chart, 3-week chart. The monthly chart hasn't fully, right? So you got bearish divergence even on the monthly chart for RSI back in 2021 as well, right? You had bearish divergence here on the monthly chart again, right? And there's no RSI sell signal on monthly. There's no bearish MACD crossover on the monthly yet. It's very lagging. Right? So you didn't see a MACD bearish crossover on the monthly until the end of January 2022. And there was bearish divergence November 2021 on the daily chart. So it's very lagging. So here we are again, but it's hooking. So you had like this peak here, consolidated, made another peak higher, made a peak here, consolidated, made another peak here, right? So histogram is decreasing. So we'll see what happens in April or May. We'll probably see a crossover. But yeah, so the probabilities are increasing. You can see there is a reversal candle on the monthly chart as well on the indicator, but these are all just probabilities. And the percentage that a fractal works out long term is very low, in my opinion. Will it work out for a month, 45 days, maybe 2 months? I rarely see a fractal workout for more than 2 months, right? So unless you're looking at like monthly charts or something. But again, I would only use them as an idea. I wouldn't like the people who are using the fractal for M2 liquidity. That's all they're holding on to right now. That's all they are holding on to. I don't see them posting anything about relative strength anymore. I don't see them posting anything about the MACD anymore. I don't see them posting about XYZ anymore. It's literally the perma bulls are only posting that I've seen on my timeline. Maybe you see something differently, or they compare a chart incorrectly, right? They're reading the chart incorrectly, but seeing it through a bullish lens only, and they're completely missing it. So that's just my opinion. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. You should always do your own research, make your own decisions, and never listen to someone on the internet, right? But this is my thoughts. This is what I think. And so the fractal has 80% correlation, according to who? Like whoever posted that originally. And then was the fractal moved? And doesn't mean that it'll have correlation in the future. I've seen where I've found fractals myself where they're 90 to 100% correlated for 45 days, or 90% correlated for 45 days, and then they become uncorrelated, and then you discard that fractal. So I wouldn't make a business decision off of it, though. No way. Not by itself. I don't even know who that is. Did you realize Kylie shot out to you on crypto banter? No. Who's Kylie? When was this? Do you have a link? Send me a link on Twitter, and I'll take a look at it. But no, I didn't know that. I don't even know who Kylie is. Kylie who? Cool. Otherwise, I like your posts and agree with you most of the times. Oh, well. You don't have to. Thank you for liking my posts. You don't have to always agree with me. I mean, I stick to the relative strength. I stick to what I know best. I feel like if I was ever to, I don't call myself an expert, right? It's weird. It's a weird thing to do. If I were to call myself an expert on anything, it would be on relative strength. In my own personal opinion, I think I'm an expert on relative strength. I've discovered something on relative strength divergence that you can't read in a book. I've never seen anyone else use it other than the people that I've taught how to use it. So based off of that, it's one of the things I'm most proud of is discovering something on divergence as far as like price and stuff. And so I would like if I don't consider myself an expert, but if I consider myself an expert on anything, it'd be relative strength. And what I'm most proud of is discovering something on divergences that I talk about in my divergence course on the website. I did all those live coaching calls and recorded them back in 2022, and I still use the same strategy today. So it's all there. So yeah, no, when I'm making business decisions, I don't want to have to consult 10 different indicators. If I have to consult 10 different indicators, and what if 4 of them are saying different, or 4 of them are lagging, or how are you going to make a real-time decision, right? How are you going to make a real-time decision? So I keep my trading strategy actually fairly simple overall, because in the heat of the moment, when everyone is calling for XYZ and maybe only 5% of the people or less are showing kind of what I'm seeing, then I have to believe what I see on the charts, and I can't be consulting 10 different things, right? I definitely don't consult fundamentals or anything like that when I'm swing trading. So there's that. But yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. I mean, it could it work out? Sure, but everything that I'm trusting myself is is showing something different. So, uh, do I care? No. No. No, I don't. Uh, just like on chain, it's very similar to on chain, right? So the on chain, and this is very unpopular. This is very unpopular, but the on chain analytics team in 2021, 2022, they made a following based off of on chain, analyzing on chain, and relative strength index. The way I use it outperformed it all. They were on chain was still bullish all through 2022. It probably wasn't until June 2022 or May, maybe April, that they are all saying that it was that I was right and that, or they blocked me. They either blocked me, said I was right, or said that the on-chain analytics wasn't going to call the next top, right? So that was 2022. A lot of them went back to on-chain. It's like they didn't learn their lesson the first time. Uh, that's up to them, right? But the on-chain community, admittedly in public, you can go back to their post in 2022 that you maybe they deleted them, I don't know, but they admitted that on-chain wasn't working from 2022. So the goalposts kept moving in 2022. The goalposts will keep moving in 2025, unfortunately. And so you really have to trust what you see on the charts. If you don't trust what you see on the charts, you'll get caught up in the narratives, you'll get caught up in the noise, and you're going to be caught up being a forced toddler. And it's never a good feeling. It's never a good feeling. So, you know, so it was on chain 2022. Uh, it was comparing the gold fractal in 2021. It was XYZ, you know, Elliott wave, wave 5 or whatever. We're only in wave 4, right? Like there were so many different reasons why the bull market could have kept going on, but it was all in the relative strength. You could have looked at the MACD, and I've shown both of those. Uh, the MACD is a free indicator. Relative strength is a free indicator. My sharpshooter RSI 2.0 is not free, but it's a part of like the sharpshooter candles 3.1. It's just to help you visually. Do you need them? I mean, you could use the free versions, right? I personally like them, and I've tailored it around. It doesn't replace my strategy, but it's supposed to help visualize my strategy, um, to make things to speed up the process, right? Speed up the learning process. I didn't ask, but someone showed that chart earlier. It wasn't just I don't even know who that is, and Uh, but if he's showing that chart, I don't care. But I've seen the chart from Raul on Real Vision. I've seen that chart a million times before you pointed this out to me today. A million times. And it's a lot of the talking heads. It's a lot of the macro fundamental guys out there, and they don't sell tops. They don't sell tops. They buy and hold. And then they buy higher and hold. And then they buy a little bit less high and hold. And so, the people who share those charts aren't buying bottoms and selling tops, right? Am I going to be 100% accurate? No, I will never be 100% accurate. I'm not happy unless I'm 75 to 80% accurate. And then my goal is to capture 80 to 90% of the move. So I'm never going to be 100% accurate. I'm never going to be able to catch 100% of the move. I don't even try to. Uh, my 2021 goal was the top minus 10 to 13%, and it was 12%, and I felt like I was late. So I strive to be better. 2022, 2023, my goal was the bottom minus 5 to 8%, and I nailed it. My goal for the end of this bull run was the top minus 5 to 8%, and I nailed it. So I've evolved. I will keep evolving. But I also stick to what I know best and what's tried and true, and don't fix it unless it's broken, right? So I'm going to keep riding what I see, and you'll see that the separation from the experts become bigger and bigger because we're already on the 3-week crossover. People are still bullish, right? People are still bullish even on the 2-week chart crossover. So you could take a free indicator that everyone makes fun of, like the MACD, and outperform most quote unquote experts out there, right? So if you just followed, I don't, but if you just followed the 3-week MACD chart, that probably would have outperformed most perma bears and perma bulls, right? Because you could have got in March 2023. Say you got out here in August 2024, and then you get back in September 2024, and then you got out here, right? So if you looked at that, see the crossover March, right? 3-week chart, you would have got in about 27,000. You would have got now, you know, July 2020 or August, and then you would have gotten back in, right? So it's not for me, but it probably still would have outperformed most. So it's been like 150% gain on just trading the MACD 3-week crossover, right? And this whole entire time over here in the crossover in December would have kept you out of buying Bitcoin all the way until March 2023, right? So that's that. The bottom was in over here. The bottom was in over here. The bottom, the bottom, the bottom, the bottom, the bottom, and it would have kept you out of all that, right? So that's that. Ooh, just got a notification on my. Let me check this. Nice, nice. Another win over there on the trading bot. Woo! Quick little scalp in the trading bot live. Got the alert. Not sure if you heard the alert on my trading view or not. Yep. So what else? Yep. Yeah, I didn't care because if they're showing that fractal, I don't care. But the first one I saw from was Raul on Real Vision. Woo! What else? What else? All right, so that's the 3-week chart. I showed last week the SP 500 already had SP 500 already had the 3-week crossover on the MACD, right? So it already happened. Where was it? 3-week chart. Yeah. Already happened in February 2025. Obviously this year. There's already a 3-week MACD bearish crossover, right? So, and then the next candle went down even further, hit 4 out of 4 targets to the downside. Now it could bounce, right? And then continue lower to hit the 200-week moving average, right? So if you look at the last MACD bearish crossover, January 2022, lines up with it. Pablo Bravo. Okay. So the 3-week chart on the SP 500 crossed January 2022. Again, lagging in my opinion. The next couple of candles, price went lower to 4,100, and then it bounced, right? So 1 to 2 candles lower after the cross, followed by a bounce, followed by price retesting the 200-week moving average, right? And then the bullish crossover, March 2023, and here we are again. So it's not just Bitcoin, right? It's not just Bitcoin. It's the SP 500. It's the NASDAQ. It's the Russell 2000. It's Tesla. It's Amazon, NVIDIA, PLTR, Microsoft, right? Palantir, right? Google. So it's not just Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin, if you're listening to the narratives out there that Bitcoin is a safe haven, while the Magnificent Seven and the indices are going through a major correction, you're gonna be surprised again, right? It's not a safe haven. It's a risky. It's, in my opinion, it's considered like a tech stock, right? I consider it kind of like a tech stock. It's higher risk. It's and so for example, if the NASDAQ corrects 30%, I would expect Bitcoin to correct probably, I'm just throwing out random numbers, 60%. And I would expect altcoins to drop 90%, right? So if the NASDAQ is going through a major 30% correction, I expect Bitcoin to go through a bigger correction, right? So it's not, it's not a safe haven while the markets are crashing, right? So it's speculative, right? I think of it as a high. I think of it as uh, a tech stock. I don't know why I'm having. I might have to go get an allergy pill or something. I don't know. It must be March, right? End of March, April, springtime. What else? What else? What else? What else? All right, let's keep going. So SP 500 3-week, right? And then it was just in a downtrend for more than a year. So I'm not expecting new all-time highs. I expect bounces, but I'm not expecting new all-time highs. Could there be a new all-time high? Could the 3-week chart just reverse back on the next candle? It's possible, but it's not probable. It's not probable. Possible, but it's not probable. I think it's a very, 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 very low percentage, right? So if you're holding on to that, it's just hopium, and hope is not a strategy. Yeah. So what else? So SP 500 3-week chart, bearish divergence on the 3-week chart, RSI sell signal as well. RSI sell signal back here, 2022, and then price came back down to the 200-week moving average, right? SP 500 could go lower as well, right? So that was a healthy correction. This was a healthy correction. This was a healthy correction. 2019. This was a bear market. And depending on your definition, you could consider 2022 a bear market as well, because it went through longer than a 6-month correction and more than 20%, right? So those are kind of like the standard definitions on Investopedia. So from what was it? From this wick down to this wick, it was 280 days, which is more than 6 months. And it was a 26% correction wick to wick. So for the stock market, Investopedia will say if it's a 6-month time period and or 20% correction, that's considered a bear market. For Bitcoin, I don't consider that a bear market. I would consider, a bear market for Bitcoin going to be at least 60%, because we've always seen like 70% or more. But over time, so if we did see a bigger stock market correction like 2008, right? So 2008 bear market for SP 500 was more than a year and a half. More than a year and a half, right? And dropped almost 60. What was it? 58% roughly. Call it 60%. And then of course .com as well, right? So .com. I would expect Bitcoin go Bitcoin has never experienced that type of a market correction ever. It was created after that crash, right? So it was created after that last major crash. It's only experienced these type of retracements, right? And if you remember this big move down here of 36%, Bitcoin went down 65%, right? So it's never experienced a 50% SP 500 bear market or a NASDAQ 70 or 80% bear market. And many of the traders today or real estate investors who are younger have never experienced it themselves either, right? I was 25, so 20 years ago? 2007, 2000. So 23 years ago, 22 years ago, I was in the mortgage and real estate business. And I mean, I was up until 2021. And I was doing fix and flips. And I experienced a bear market. I experienced the rug getting pulled out on real estate. And I accounted for a 10% drop within 3 to 6 months. And I would still make good money, right? What I didn't expect was the market to drop 50% within 6 months, right? In my area, it dropped 50% in 6 months in real estate, not the stock market, in real estate. Stock market probably dropped even faster, right? Or about the same. 2008. It depends what you're looking at, right? So that's how fast it could drop. And, I learned a valuable lesson. What did I say? Education is expensive. I had an expensive education, right? I came up with that in 2009 when I finally got over it because I beat myself up over and over and over again. I was like, I crunch the numbers. I crunch the numbers. I crunch the numbers. I crunch the numbers. I'm a number cruncher. I crunched them. I accounted for a 10% drop by the time I could sell it and I would still make money. I knew what it had to be to just break even, and which was like 20% off. And then it went down 50%. And I gave it all back. All my wins, I gave them all back. All back. Went back to zero, right? So it was a tough lesson to learn. And I'll probably continue to learn lessons, but I try to talk about those lessons in those live coaching calls that I recorded and pass on my experience and try to continue to sniper the markets to the best of our ability, right? Weekly chart. This is still the SP 500. Let's just kind of go down the line, right? So we did Bitcoin, double wick top, called this out, talked about this correction back here in NVIDIA, coming back to the 200-week moving average. Could it come back again? Seems like it. We got a gap here at $69. It's possible it eventually fills this gap at $30. It was like a 18 or 20% gap back there. If it were to fill that gap, I would expect it to take at least 9 to 12 months, maybe longer. Got this new gap here at 109. So keeping all that in mind, but double wick top, called it at the top. We didn't know for sure. Now it's starting to look more and more like that was the top, right? It's always in hindsight. Could have been a local top, could have been a double top, could have been a triple top, could have been a quadruple top. This was a double top, right? So it's always in hindsight. Tesla, a lot of times, not always, there's a 40 to 45% drop in a bear market, followed by a relief rally, right? Followed by a longer relief rally, capturing some more longs, and then price continues lower, right? So I'm not saying that's going to happen with Tesla. I'm just saying that often it happens. The difference is with Tesla, it dropped 55%. So that's pretty interesting that it dropped that much more, because even on SMCI that we'll take a look at, dropped like 45%. So I don't know, but the higher time frames are flipping bearish. Let's see, 3-week chart had an RSI sell signal on Tesla, had a bearish MACD crossover. Still seeing the experts out there call it bullish. They're buying dips. Maybe they're just buying short-term dips and then they're going to sell it off. It doesn't seem that way according to their posts. But it's a 3-week MACD crossover on Tesla, and we could see lower prices. And it may take time to play out, right? It may take time to play out. We got a gap at 147, got a gap at 73, and 3-week chart. If you look at 3-week chart, there's even bearish divergence, long-term bearish divergence. Let's look at the monthly chart. Long-term monthly chart. I mean, it's possible we see this gap at 149 get filled, right? Of course, it's possible we see a gap at $75, $76 get filled, right? So there's a pending sell signal on the monthly chart. Back here at the top, I was calling for sub, or I said a lot of people will be surprised if Tesla retraces sub 100. I think it hit 102, right? I think my target was, my target was front run. I don't know, by somebody, and missed it by $2, right? So I had a target at $100 and it just missed it. So Tesla, higher time frames, had a MACD bearish crossover. Is it confirmed? Will be confirmed today, right? So could bounce in the short term. It is pretty far extended away from the trending dots on the 3-week chart, so it is possible it bounces. But I would be, once the longer term trends have changed, I'm more about shorting the bounces than I am buying the dips, right? So it is what it is. 3-week chart. Since we're on the 3-week chart, let's see. Amazon, bearish crossover on the 3-week chart. Happened early March. PLTR, not yet. But my $92 strike price on puts are looking pretty good. Looks like it could be crossing back over again. Already had a sell signal on the daily chart. Had a sell signal on the 4-hour chart. Where is it? 4-hour chart. boom, boom, right? Shorting the bounce. So this is a peak. Price came all the way down, right? 40%. Just what I talked about. If it comes down 40 to 45%, that's typical for when a stock or a crypto asset goes, or whatever asset you're looking at, goes parabolic, right? So first of all, it goes parabolic. And it was a bubble, right? Then what happens is if you see, if it's a larger asset, maybe it's 30 to 35% drop. If it's more of like a tech stock like PLTR or SMCI, MicroStrategy, etc., you could see that it could drop 40 to 45% and then kind of go through everything's back to normal and then drops a second time, right? And then drops a second time. So that could be it, right? Sometimes it's a drop down and it's like a second wave, right? And then comes back down. And not in a straight line usually, right? Especially on the 4-hour chart. It's always possible that comes back down, comes back up, right? And then comes back down like that. So however it plays out, based off the higher time frames, I'm expecting the bounces to get sold off, right? So I'm expecting the bounces to get sold off. So that's that. PLTR, 40% drop. There's a retracement of from wick to wick, 31%, and trap some more bulls. Everything is back to normal, and then rug pulled again, right? So that's PLTR. You look at the weekly chart. Of course, that had a MACD bearish crossover, RSI sell signal on the weekly chart. No sell signal on the weekly chart as of yet. There was a reversal candle and a bearish engulfing candle on PLTR. 2-week chart hasn't crossed over yet on the 2-week chart for the MACD, but there was an RSI sell signal. Price retested the trending dots so far. Nothing on the 3-week chart except for the reversal candle over here, and then also the RSI sell signal. So it's trending that way, though. It's trending that way. Microsoft covered this actually on the last live stream, right? On the last live stream and the previous live stream. You can see my drawings from the last live stream, right? The bearish divergence. Once it broke that, you could call it a neckline, right? Broke that trend line. Price came back down and retested the 200-week moving average, right? Bearish divergence. Once price is going to start breaking down over here at 407, then the magnet would kick in and price would retest the 200-week moving average. I think we did the live stream and it was at like 406, right? I think it was at 406. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the last live stream had that, right? So here we are. Now it's at 370. And we're getting closer to that area, not further away, right? So still seeing similarities. And look at the 3-week chart, right? 3-week chart, RSI sell signal, right? Doesn't happen very often on Microsoft. Bearish MACD crossover, bearish MACD crossover. So you can see the 3-week chart is very lagging, right? It's very lagging, yet it'll still outperform many experts, which is funny. I don't know. I have to laugh at it. So there we go. So trust what you see on the charts, not what the quote unquote experts are saying, what the fundamentals are, what XYZ is saying. NASDAQ, similar thoughts. Pending sell signal on the NASDAQ Composite Index, right? So gaps on the QQQs, IWM, Russell 2000, already retested the 200-week moving average, right? Already retested it. Led the way in 2021 with Bitcoin and retested the 200-week moving average. So seems like the Russell 2000 is leading the way again. Meta had a reverse candle. Big gap at $400. It's possible it comes all the way back down. This is 3-week chart. MACD bearish crossover. Bearish divergence, right? Bearish divergence. So I remember my best friend telling him it was a good buy at like 143, and he put 10 grand into it. I don't give financial advice, but he was having a hard time with Tesla. And so he turned over his portfolio to a fund that would manage his money for him. And because they already have money, right? They already have money. And but he was gambling Tesla, and I was telling him that we are going to go much lower, and then it did. And so he gave back money. And so then I was like, hey, Meta looks like a good long-term buy. So that was at 143. Price didn't hit this target. It came up just short. Right? I mean, it almost hit it. So maybe I drew it wrong, but I'm not going to change it to try to make myself look better. But if you go to pretty sure it's 143. I was telling him longer term because I didn't want to like tell him in and out at the daily chart. But that's a 419% change, right? So if you captured 80 to 90% of that, right? Say you only used the weekly chart and you're in and you didn't get out till the sell signal, it's a 293%. You got out the reversal candle, or you got out this reverse candle and you bought back in on a daily chart. Who knows what your strategy is? 340%. You took profits along the way, whatever the case may be, right? That's Meta. ANF, very similar to Microsoft and all the other ones that I'm looking at. Once it broke that kind of you can call it a neckline, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Price goes parabolic, right? And then price drops the initial 30, 35, 40, 40, just call it 30 to 45, 30 to 40%, give or take, right? That initial drop. Then, so you got the initial, let's just call it 40% drop, right? And of course it changes, but 40% drop followed by all of this, followed by the next move down, right? So that's a classic cheat sheet for Wall Street. That's the classic Wall Street cheat sheet. So price goes parabolic for whatever reason on Abercrombie and Fitch. Who knows, right? I didn't even know they still sold clothing, right? That was back in the 90s, early 2000s. And then after price goes parabolic and is one of the top performing stocks, right? 700% gain. Unbelievable. I think it outperformed Bitcoin. Then drops 38%, then goes through this period of time over here, and then that next big drop down. So that's what I was talking about. SMCI, same thing, right? Almost identical. Obviously, they're all different, but price goes parabolic for whatever reason. Price drops 45%, kind of goes through this, return back to normal, still bullish. We're going to make new all-time highs. And then bear market, right? Bear market confirmed. So, and retest the 200-week moving average. So It's been happening over and over and over again. PLTR goes parabolic, drops 40%. Maybe it goes through something like that, then comes down, right? Then comes down. So it could still return to normal. Be aware of that. And it could also just go straight down. But I'm expecting that the top is in and that price is going to retest target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4, and then ultimately the 200-week moving average down here, right? So that's what I'm expecting. PLTR. Microsoft, where is it? I know we just covered this, but just kind of zooming out on it. Didn't quite go as parabolic. It's a bigger asset. Amazon didn't quite go as parabolic. NVIDIA, that was an incredible run. Tesla, that was a nice bounce, right? What else? Apple. Let me get off that. Apple has some similarities to 2021 and Microsoft, right? So you got the bearish divergence, reverse candle. It's still on the weekly chart. The lower high I pointed out over here. So you had the high. You had bearish divergence on the weekly chart. You had a reversal candle. You had a high. You had a lower high, which is the higher probability, shorting the bounces, right? If you're looking for a higher probability short, you got the high, and then the higher probability is the lower high, right? And shorting the bounce. And then that lower high is confirmed with this candle close over here, took out this pivot point. So it's not confirmed till then. You'll see a lot of the permanent bulls say the lower high is not confirmed. It's not confirmed, not confirmed. Oh, cool. Great. Well, it's technically not confirmed until price hit 212, and price was once upon a time at 260. So for the perma bulls to consider that lower high to be confirmed, price is already down 18%, right? I'm not waiting for that. What else? Apple, Google. Woo-wee. Google, 27% on Google. That's pretty big. Expect bounces along the way. This gap was filled as well. Boom. SQQQ. This is designed to lose money long term, as the market is typically bullish. Weekly chart is still bullish. Target 1 has not been hit yet. There we go. From the daily buy signal, that would be about a 66% to target 1. So, did I hit the mic? Yep, I hit the mic. Mic's good. Cool. Getting low in water. Oh, we're already at an hour? What else? So that's the Magnificent Seven extended with the indices and some other notables. It's a possibility, right? Just kind of showing this fractal of like if it breaks down like a similar neckline, right? Then we could see even lower targets, right? The 200-week moving average, et cetera. Gold, sure. We could look at gold. Yeah, let's do that. Let's look at gold. Let's look at spot, because I think I have an old drawing on spot gold. Hit more targets to the upside. There it is. Nope. Monthly chart. Right? So my monthly, I think I even did one on the 3-month chart, cup and handle. So there we are. Ultra bullish, still pumping in gold, making new all-time highs in price discovery mode. And we drew this out a long time ago. We drew this out a long time ago. And then when it started breaking out, talked about it, covered it, and here we are, right? The breakout was in October 2023. Fake outs along the way, but it never looked back. And here we are a year and a half later, right? So 3-month chart, ultra bullish. I'm not sure what's good. It's probably based off of lower time frames. Who knows? Yeah, definitely lower time frames, but still bullish on 3-month chart, ultra bullish. Monthly chart. Let's see, 2-week chart. Right, still ultra bullish. Weekly chart. So daily chart. I mean, it's definitely overbought, right? It's definitely overbought. But as you can see, it can remain overbought. So when was it getting overbought on the weekly chart originally? Let's see, that was back here, March 2024, right? So March 2024, it started getting overbought, and that was at $1,000 ago, right? So yeah, there is some times where it was no longer overbought, but it started to get overbought about 2,100, and still $1,000 later, still overbought. So it can remain overbought. It's possible it puts in bearish divergence. There was bearish divergence, but that has now been taken out. The indicator is not removing it, but that bearish divergence is no longer valid. But it could any lower RSI peak than 82.3, it could go higher, but any RSI weekly peak lower than that or the same could be bearish divergence. So we'll see. And then the lower high is the higher probability. And that's why I always say that, because you have bearish divergence, but if it would have made a lower high over here, then that is the higher probability, right? So if price made a lower high and RSI made a lower high from the bearish divergence, that is the higher probability that the top is in. Because otherwise, you can see it just go higher, right? So that's why I always say that, because there could be additional future bearish divergence, or the bearish divergence disappears altogether, right? That bearish divergence is no longer valid. So that lower high is the higher probability. So if there would have been a lower high over here, that would have been a higher probability that the top was in, but it wasn't in. So that's where a lot of people get confused, right? A lot of people get confused. Bearish or bullish divergence may not just be a full trend reversal. It could be a shorter term thing. And of course, it could always disappear and or have future divergence. So that's that. So gold still pumping for now. For now. But I'm definitely not shorting gold right now. I'm definitely not. Well, actually, the trading bot does. The trading bot takes longs and shorts based off of the 1-minute chart. So the trading bot doesn't care if it's in a long-term upward or downward trend. It's scalping on the 1-minute chart. You got it. You got it, Doc. You got it. You got it. So 1-minute chart, it doesn't matter what you're doing. These are based off of higher time frames. What else? That's gold. All right, let's circle back up here. Let's just take some glances at the higher time frame altcoins, right? So you got a 2-week chart, still bearish, right? Still bearish. This was bearish divergence, right? This was bearish divergence. This was bearish divergence, right? If I pull up the indicator, it show even the indicator is pulling it up, right? The indicator is pointing out bearish divergence. Indicators bearish divergence on the 2-week chart on Ethereum, and it's below the 200-week moving average, and the 200-week moving average is trending downward. I think that's the first time I've ever seen the 200-week moving average trend downward on Ethereum. That's not good. I don't see that as a positive at all. So the buy the dippers, right? Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip all the way down. Even I think it was Eric Trump. It was a good time to buy it, 3,100 Ethereum, right? And now it's what, 40% lower since that last, 45% lower, right? So again, doesn't matter who they are, they could be wrong, right? Trust what you see on the charts, because at here, right, rugged. Bottom is in again. Bottom is in again. Bottom is in again. Eventually they'll be right. Eventually they'll be right. But the higher time frames are still bearish. So there's that. Probably going to have bullish divergence at some point, whether it's the weekly chart or whatever. But I'm not seeing it yet. Let's see. Not seeing any bullish divergence yet. So that's 2-week chart. All go 2-week chart. All it did was ever come back and retest the 200-week moving average. It's still below it, still trending downward on all go. H bar, it's not even old enough to have a 200-week moving average. If you look at the weekly chart, right, still coming back. Still coming back. XLM. See, I think it had bullish divergence on the daily chart. Yep. Bullish divergence on the daily chart. Could have continued bullish divergence. We don't know, right? Maybe the bullish divergence disappears. So we're just keeping an eye on it, right? Just keeping an eye on it. Waiting for a higher probability reversal. And play to the upside, play to the downside. Staying neutral. XCN continuing to go lower and lower. You have to keep moving the trend lines lower and lower and lower. Still bearish. Is it coming all the way back here? That's crazy. Is it coming all the way back? Ooh wee. XRP has hit 3 out of 5 targets so far. Cardano, I think that's 5 out of 5 targets. XRP, Sand, Mana, bullish divergence, followed by additional bullish divergence. So we'll see what happens. Expecting a bounce to happen eventually, right? So we'll be waiting for it. Still waiting for it. We'll see what happens. Would love to see a bounce on altcoins, at least. Sol weekly chart, right? That was a slightly lower high. That was confirmed lower high with a lower low. Bum, bum. Oh. What am I doing? Wrong one. Jesse. Oh, Jesse. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. So I'm not saying that it's going to go all the way back to $27. I'm just kind of showing, like, I don't actually necessarily trade horizontal. So I know some people are really into the horizontals, but uh, buying off of support and selling off of resistance, I don't necessarily off of the horizontals. I'm more of the diagonals um, with other things, but there's not much support. What I'm trying to show is doesn't seem like there's a ton of support between 128 here, right? So you got more here, right? So not a ton of support below 128. So could it regain it and bounce up here for a while? Sure, could. But the more closes it happens below, you know, at least retest target 4. See if it comes down here. Right? $89. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Probably put another target in down here. But that's Sol weekly chart, 2-week chart, had a sell signal. It's going the wrong direction, right? If you're expecting Sol to go make new all-time highs, like Raul, not to pick on Raul, but make new all-time highs and crush another top like 2021, then it's going in the wrong direction. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to tell you. Something about M87. I don't. What does that mean? I don't know. What's M87? MA3 is a band. What else? Soul near. Oof. Dot. AVAX. You get the idea. Fetch. I've been saying that for a long time that it looked differently because this was actually made a new all-time high in March 2024 and it's been in a bear market ever since, right? So by definition for crypto is over a year is down 88% in more than a year. That is by definition a bear market in crypto, right? Definitely in the indices and the stock market, but for crypto, that's the definition of a bear market. So Fetch.ai made new all-time highs. It pumped hard March 2024, and then it's been in bear market ever since. Still bullish on Bitcoin, and now the 200-week moving average is curling upward for the first time ever. No, in a very long time. It curled upward back here, 2021. Okay. Still bullish on higher time frames, but we'll see what happens. It's possible, puts in some bearish divergence, but not yet. But not yet. Oh, that's what the trend lines are. It was starting to break down, but never had a sell signal, and then it came right back up. So call that a fake out to the downside with possible move to the upside, right? What else? Anything else? Bitcoin miners. Let's look at the higher time frames. Ooh. Never hit like target 3 or target 4. Only hit 2 targets to the upside, right? Brutal. Bitfarm, it's getting oversold. Again, only hit 2 out of 4 targets to the upside. Never hit target 3 and target 4. Only hit 2 out of the 4 targets to the upside. Bearish divergence and then lower highs. And now it's all the way back down to 78 cents. Wow. Marathon Digital, still bearish on the weekly chart. Last week, this little pump over here, Perma Bulls got excited again. The Perma Bulls got excited on that wick again, and they got rugged again, right? So over here, even though the higher time frames are bearish, they're still buying dips instead of selling the rips and or shorting the bounce, right? So if you're buying that dip, you better sell it. If you're shorting bounces, right? While the higher time frames are still bearish. So there we are, $11.61. Gap down. Oof. Marathon Digital. I know that last little buy signal was trapped some more bulls for sure. I saw the posts. Clean Spark, same thing. Still bearish on the weekly chart. Never hit target 4. Hit 3 out of 4 targets to the upside. Never hit target 4. Still bearish. Still bearish on the weekly chart. Still bearish. Still bearish. Still bearish. Still bearish. Still bearish. Now ultra bearish. I don't know. I was drawing a triangle for fun. Never retested the 200-week moving average ever again. Retested it back in July 2023, and that was it on Hive. Oversold. Back to prices not seen since December 2022. Unbelievable. MGI, MIGI just getting crushed. Back to prices not seen since August 2023. MicroStrategy. This is the weekly chart. Will price get hit over here on the 200-week moving average? I think so. Daily chart looks like it's starting to break down again, right? Back below the yellow line. Back into target 4 area. So that's MicroStrategy. Let's see, 2-week chart. Yep, MACD bearish crossover. 3-week chart starting to have a MACD bearish crossover. Not quite yet. In the near future, though. So just a matter of time. What else? Oh, all the Bitcoin ETFs that we're going to take it to $1 million. They haven't even been around long enough to have 2-week chart MACD bearish crossovers, right? So you have to stick with the 1 week. 1 week MACD bearish crossover back in February. And HODL, we talked about it. We covered it. Filling gaps. Has this gap. Target 4 still has not been hit yet. $20. Got a gap at $18, et cetera. So that's that. That's the gaps. The gap situation over here on Bitcoin ETFs. Barely holding on to the yellow line. Barely. Once it loses again, then refill the gap, again, probably this gap, hit target 4, and then we'll see about the other ones. Yep. Gap filled. Filled. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, Jesse. You're so bearish. I'm not bearish. The charts are bearish. I'm just pointing out what I see on the charts. What else? Coin. Oh boy. Oh, remember when we pointed that out on coin? Remember we pointed out bearish divergence. Then we pointed out a possible lower high breaking down from the trend line, sell signal, and now here we are, right? From wick to wick so far, down 53, almost 54% in a matter of 115 days or 76 trading days, whatever you want to call it. But that's coin. Woo! Stocks, what the definition is that the Investopedia says, 6 months or 20% decline or both, right? It checks off all the boxes for a bear market for Coinbase. So coming all the way back to the 200, some will say under the 200 day, some will say under the 200 week, but so whatever. Shop? What happened to shop? What else? What else? Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, Target has been in a bear market since November 2021. Never made a new all-time high. It's never guaranteed that the asset's going to make a new all-time high. Just remember this, right? Ethereum hasn't made a new all-time high. Target, even though we shop there, this shirt is from Target. I'm not too. I don't pretend I'm something I'm not. I shop at Target. I just got a bunch of baby organic packets from Target as well. I shop there. Oh, I bought a pan there. I bought a pan, a couple pans, and I cook a lot of eggs in the morning, right? So and then the wife cooks eggs. We all have different times, and then the nanny cooks eggs for the baby. So all that stuff. But yeah, Target prices not seen since October 2023, and you could go back to prices in August 2019, and that's it, right? So Target. Javier still on here, right? Not financial advice, just for fun. Today with the chart. Today, what chart would you long, and what would you short? Well, I'm currently in a Palantir short with options. I'm currently in a long for stock on SQQQ. That's a bullish chart. I closed out. Where is it? NASDAQ futures. Short term, right? This one, like NASDAQ one, is very short term because it's with leverage. But I closed out this short with 10 grand, right? So recently closed out that short, let it bounce, right? I don't know. I may long it, but if I long it, it's short term, right? Or I may wait for a short the bounce opportunity. But I closed out that short. I could have held it, but I like to realize gains. So I don't love SQQQ. I don't love it. I actually hate it, but I do have some stock in it for fun. But no, I actually hate SQQQ. I actually hate it. I don't like it at all. But feelings aside, right? Feelings aside. Um, PLTR. Let's see, 4-hour chart, PLTR. Oh boy. There we go. What the heck? All right. So, but what was the question? What would you long? What would you short? I don't know. This one was on my. I posted this one over here, right? So in the Discord, I posted something like, I'm watching. What did I do? Short. I put it up like this, right? When price is over here. So I was expecting a bounce a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I posted in the Discord that basically I'm going to be watching to short Palantir, right? And there was a bounce. I didn't short it. I was thinking there'd at least be two bounces, right? There was two bounces, and then I shorted on the 26th. I took 92 strike price on multiple puts for PLTR, and then it was down to like $79 today. So still holding it. So we'll see if that works out to go even lower. But it's all lunch money anyways. It's not like I go and buy 100 puts. I don't do that. So anyways, I'm in PLTR puts still out of my NASDAQ short based off a lower time frame, locked in 5-digit gain, almost 11,000. And then what else? Oh, SQQQ. And then I had some other ones. I try not to be in more than like 3. I kept an eye on this one. I never on app. I didn't ever take a short on that one, but drew it out like almost perfectly. But like I said, I don't like to be in multiple. I don't like to be in too many positions. But this one had a 29% gap. And so this is how I drew it out for the Discord for PLTR. Like, this is why I didn't take this one. I was thinking that it might bounce higher, and it didn't. It barely got to right here. So I never took a short on this one. And it's possible it still does go higher. And if it does, then I will short it. So this one's kind of on my watch list. But the PLTR one, I did take the short on it. Even though I put them both like that, hey, I'm looking for a bounce. I'm expecting a bounce, and I will short that bounce, right? So this one played out pretty similar to the way I drew it out. If you look at the 3, but it never really had a lower high. So that's why it was more difficult to like want to short that one. And so unless I feel really clear about it, then I don't do it, right? Because there's plenty of other opportunities out there, but that would have been a good one too, right? So that's how I drew it out before it happened. But if I would have seen a lower high here, I would have taken that short for sure. So it's possible it goes higher. Could take some time to play out. Maybe it puts in a lower high. Maybe I go in after that, but I didn't. PLTR. Oh, I I have this one. I've been watching Berkshire Hathaway. It's got bearish divergence, and this could be a lower high, right? Could be. I've shorted Berkshire Hathaway before. I think there's better things to short, but I'm not afraid to short it. It's just another chart to me. But this could be a lower high. And this is why it's been on my radar to possibly short it. So if that is a lower high, it closed back up here, but it basically took out that wick over here. So you've got bearish divergence. You've got a possible lower high forming. Oh, this is a 4-hour chart. Let's see. Daily chart. Yeah, no lower high in the daily chart yet. But this wick took out this pivot point over here. So that's a positive sign if you're shorting. This is bearish divergence on the daily chart. Probably got to drop down to a lower time frame to catch a really good entry, but it's risky. Lower high in the 4-hour chart might look like something like that, right? If this is a lower high, and then you go in with like something like that. So you can see it's like even if it drops 5%, I don't know. Does that get me super excited? Not really. Not really. Then you have to hold it a long time to get like 10%. I mean, 4-hour chart, I guess, is not a long time, but 10%. I don't know. I just think there's opportunities out there to short something that will really move fast. But this is like an idea of that I'd be like watching. I'm watching, but I don't know if I'll do it. Yeah, just like Microsoft did 24 hours. Yeah. What else? I think that's about it. 1040. Holy moly, guacamole. 4-hour chart. Target force still remains. What else? 2-day chart. Just roughly drawing lines, right? Break that. Right. So that's about it. What else? I mean, this could be. I could be that. I don't know. Oof. That's about it. Okay. I don't know when we're gonna have another live stream. I'll plan for next Monday if nothing comes up, and so if something big happens, maybe I'll live stream again this week. But I don't have any plans for it, but I don't think I'm gonna go a full month again. I think I'll do more live streams. A lot happens within a month, but I have been posting charts and stuff. I've just been obsessively like we're running version 1. Uh there's a small select group running beta test version 1 of the trading bot, and that's still running for me. And but all this time I've made like 8 more trading bots to make over the last like 4 months, and just trying to find like better, 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 better. So I've been obsessing over the trading bots like the last few months, and then even more so like the last month. So just trying to get it better and better and better. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. So when I put all that energy into it, I don't other things fall off, right? I can be ob- obsessed and hyper focused on like one major thing, and then I could still do some other things. But uh, I like to go all in. Ooh, sub $83,000 on Bitcoin. But yeah, this doesn't look good for the permanent bulls either. And even the trending dots are going to be breaking that trend line. And when I was talking about the lower high up here, you know, they're saying that it's not confirmed yet, and then the lower high is confirmed, and then they move the target post again. Alex, thanks for doing the live stream. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. You're welcome. You are welcome. Yeah. So, I plan to do more live streams, but I the main thing for me is I want to get like the bot so dialed in, and maybe it'll never be like maybe I'll never feel like it's so dialed in, but the 3 newest bots that I have show some promise. So now it's just a matter of optimizing, testing it, and then live testing with the live account before I roll it out to the small beta test group. So that's what I've been obsessing over, and it's a lot of work, a lot of brain power. So I can't be doing hour and 45-minute live streams and doing that. It just drains my energy. So plus, don't forget I have a 9-month-old baby. The nanny's with her right now, but I can hear her hooting and hollering downstairs, like like she's a wild animal. She's not crying, but she's just a wild animal, and be like, so I can hear her doing that. But I love it. I get to go see her right now. I always go check in on her, see how she's doing, go say hi to her throughout the day. So it's a good. I love that I'm able to stay home, wife stay home, all of us work from home, and then the nanny works here Monday through Thursday for sure, usually Fridays, and then but I can go see her anytime I want. So I love it. With that, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Hope you had a good weekend, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Smash a like, share with your people, share with your followers, your friends, family. Help me with the algorithms. I appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Adios.